Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to another episode in live stream of Let's Build Twitter. So I haven't been doing a very good job of this, but I wanted to go ahead and remind y'all that this is not a public repository, but you can get access to this. I know I used to say it in every single episode, but there's some people coming in, maybe at the end of the series or maybe at the beginning of the series that haven't seen this, so maybe they're starting here. So if you do want access, there is a link in the description to a video that explains exactly how you gain access to the private repository. You also gain other things in the membership, like for example, you get to watch the videos early, and some other things will primarily just watch videos early and don't add you to the repository. So check out that video if you're interested. So last episode we were working on the profile page and we got this. So this is just a blank screen. Eventually, hopefully we'll be able to put in the profile banner, and it looks like Twitter might be a little bit wider now, so we might be able to update how wide this is. And it might be because my screen is a little bit bigger, so it is what it is. We have our profile picture. Again, this will be changed whenever there's actually a profile picture. And now we're gonna go ahead and work on is the follow button and all of this stuff. So the follow button should have like a ring around, or this dot should have a ring around it. Follow should be circle, and we'll kind of go from there. Also, I think I know how to fix this part, so let's go ahead and go to the part that's sticky. I want to try something really quick. So if we go to the part that's sticky, I'm not really sure what part this is, and this is off of a whim. It might be profile top bar. Actually no, it's going to be where we have our search bar. So let's go into, it'd be discovery and components, and then discovery. It might just be discovery. I'm not sure if it's discovery search bar. Let's see if the CSS. So yeah, stop sticky. So let's say top sticky like 2px, and this might make it so that it doesn't do what it's doing now. So it might give us some room, or it won't give us some room. Let's try 4px. Let's see if this does it. Yeah, there we go. So now it's actually staying right there. It doesn't really matter that much. I just kind of wanted to get the stick where we wanted it. So let's go ahead and do this, and then we'll kind of go from there. I haven't really been sticking to any plans or anything. So let's go ahead and close out of this. And we are working on profile top bar. I'm going to move profile over here. And it looks like we actually made a profile follows section. I don't know why we made this, because the profile, I guess profile top bar might be slightly different, so we can get rid of that. It's been like a week since I worked on this. So currently we only have the profile follow section, and then we also have follow section profile picture where it's kind of stuck at a specific location. So now let's come back in here. So we did the PFP. So now let's do the left part. So I think what we could do for this is so we could probably do width 100%. I'm not sure. Because this one's with 134 pixels. Let's say width 50% and kind of see how that looks. And then height, whoops, if I can't type today, it will just be fit content. And then we want this to be display flex and align items in the center. And I'm trying to think what else we need. We probably want justify content space evenly. So justify content space evenly, or around maybe. We'll try space around. So let's just see if this does anything. So okay, so that might be a little bit big. And we might also want to say, instead of justify content space between, we can actually say like flex end. And then we can add some row gap and kind of see. That looks fine. And then maybe we add some row gap. Would it be row gap, or would it be column gap? So column gap of like 8px, and 8px might be a little bit aggressive. We'll see. So let's just see what this looks like. I think that looks okay. Now this guy isn't perfectly centered, so we'll need to deal with that. And I'm hoping we have a wrap around it. We do. Cool. So let's just go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna see how large the dot is on here. So it's like 20 by 20. So before I do anything, I'm gonna say width is equal to 20. Well, actually we need to do sx equal to an object. And we're gonna have width is 20px. And our height will be 20px. We don't need to put a font size on this. I'm just going to keep it black. So that should help with that. And hopefully this centers it better. No, it just made it smaller. So let's go ahead and do this. It could be this part. So next we'll do this section. So here we want a width of 34 by 34. So width 34 px, height 34 px. Let's fix this, 34. And this one will have a border of 1px solid, and this is going to be the light gray color, so it's going to grab the light gray. I believe it's light gray because most of our borders are typically light gray on the light mode. So let's grab that color, and I don't know why I keep forgetting my colons. Okay, and the border radius will be 100%. And what else do we need? So we got border radius. What else do we want? We want display flex, so we can center it. So display flex, justify content in the center, and align items in the center. I don't think we need anything else. So let's just take a peek at what this one looks like. So it looks pretty good. And there's probably a hover effect. So hover effect, it kind of turns the inside gray a little bit. It's a little bit lighter than the actual border, and then it also has a pointer. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's just copy this because I'm lazy. Copy this, paste it in there, except I got the dot already, so we don't need that. And we'll hover, and inside we'll say cursor pointer, and then we'll also have a background color of, and let's go ahead and convert this to RGBA because it really is just like a lighter version of it. So let me go ahead and say hex to RGB converter. Okay, we'll convert this, throw it in there, and then that part will be done. Now it's supposed to have like a drop down. I'm not going to do the drop down right now. That could be something we can go back and do, because again, we're not worried about working on the actual profile page more. We just want to be able to follow people. So let's go ahead and put in the RGB. Let's convert this to RGBA, and then let's go ahead to like 0.5 just to lighten it up a little bit. So we come back in here. So it might need to be even lighter, so like 0.3. Yeah, okay. Now let's do the follow. So the follow, let's take a peek at how big it is. So follow is 80 by 36. And I'm wondering if on the regular Twitter it's probably blue. So I'm going to make it blue. I don't know what color it actually is. But let's go ahead and grab the profile section button. And we'll need to do the follow part on this. So profile section button. Width is 80px. And height was 36. Fine. 36px. And there's no border, so border none. Whoops, none. But we do want a border radius of 18px. We want a background color of Twitter blue, which I do not have access to here. So let's go ahead and grab Twitter blue from here and paste that in there. And what else are we gonna want? So we might want the font size slightly bigger, I guess. I think 600 is probably fine. So we can go ahead and say font size 15. That might be the default font size. I don't know. 15px, and font weight. Let's go ahead and say 600 because this is a little bit thicker. And I think that's everything. There's a hover effect. So, and maybe we make that white, the color white, because that color looks a little bit weird with black. I think that's probably good. And let's go ahead and put a cursor pointer on there. And then let's go ahead and say dot profile follow section, follow section button, and make sure we put a hover on here. And in the hover, we'll go ahead and put a background color. And we want this color, this blue color, but probably like a little bit darker shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up a shade generator. And we're going to grab our blue color. And we're going to go like 10% darker. We're going to just copy that, put in my pound sign, and do like a little bit darker. It should be just slightly darker, but you should be able to notice it. So as you can see, and honestly 10% might be a little bit too much darker, but I think that's fine. So now obviously whenever we click on it, we want to actually be able to follow the person. And then we're also probably going to need the following list to know, or your following list, maybe the person who's logged in's following list. That way you can see basically that they're following this person. And then because whenever you follow them, the button's going to change. So that's like the last thing that you deal with. So I'm guessing for follow, we probably want to go ahead and mess with the user slice, because this is the person that's currently logged in, and we can go ahead and update this logged in user. Now whenever the user logs in, I'm curious to see, excuse me, what actually gets sent back. I have a feeling that it doesn't send back the following list, because I'm assuming that it will probably like infinite loop. So we can actually take a look in the code really quick. We're going to a user controller, and there should be just a get by username, and we can actually look at our user application user itself. So if we go into application user, and let's see, so JSON ignore, actually no, we're not JSON ignoring, so we are ignoring following and followers, so we need to get those specifically. So we might need to, whenever we log in the user, or whenever we get the user, maybe, because I think we get user by token as well. And this one returns the data. I'm not sure. So this one, does it set the user? Let's scroll down and look inside of our actual async thunk case. Builder.add case, login user. So that sets the user ID. Although I want to look for the get user by token, so this sets logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a following list. So this can be, so go ahead and say following, and this will be a user array. And this can start out as empty, and followers, which is a user array and empty. And we're going to have to basically update this whenever we follow the person as well, which will be interesting. So the initial state, our following, will obviously be an empty array. Followers, whoops, followers will be an empty array. And then what we're going to want to go ahead and do, I guess, is we could probably do this in login user and inside of, or the issue is it's, yeah, we're going to do it inside of here. I don't know, we might be able to just set this up as like an async function, like a private async function. So async function, and then we can call this get followers, right? And then now the issue is going to be, we need the, let's see what, if we even have one to get followers. So if we go into user controller, let's go to the bottom. So yes, so we do get followers username, so get the user's followers, and then following. I don't know what TR stands for. I think this is supposed to say username as well. So we can go ahead and pass in here username string, and this will return a user array. All right, And then obviously this is async, and then we can also get following. My mouse wants to work. My mouse has been really glitchy lately. I don't know what the deal is. Get following, and then what I'm thinking we can do is do a promise all. Once all these come in, we can set both of them maybe. But let's just go ahead and do this. Although, yeah, I guess async functions return promises by default, right? So let's just go ahead and set this up and say this. So we'll go ahead and say const rec is equal to await Axios dot, and this is a GET request to http:// whoops, maybe local host :8000/user/ and it might be users. Let me double check something. Yep, nope, just user, and then / and then so this one would be followers / and actually might as well do $, so backticks here, so we can use our $, curly brace, and then we'll say $, curly brace, pass in that username. Now the thing is, I don't think we had to have whatever it's called. I don't think we have to have the auth token for this. So we can return rec.data, and this should just return the list of users. What's your problem? User is not a valid async type because it's a promise compatible, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. It might not like that rec.data. Let's just do this, I guess, and hopefully it works. We can copy this, paste this, and we probably want to try catch this, to be honest, but whatever. And then this will be following. And so theoretically what we could have done was whenever we log in, we could have done, like, once the user gets set, get the following followers. I'm thinking maybe we do this inside the login functionality as well, because this is something we want as soon as we're logged in. And we can double check to make sure we don't need the token for this. In our auth configuration, security configuration, yeah, followers and following permit all, so that's fine. Okay, so now I need to remember how to use promise all. So let me take a peek. So what we could do is say, what we could say is inside of here. So we have our rec.data, so we can say const user. User is equal to rec.data. And then what we can go ahead and do, although, shoot, this won't work though, right? Because this has to return like a single object. Although we can return all three things, so that's fine. So const user is equal to that, and then we're gonna say await. We can probably say let following and followers equal to await promise.all. Whoops, promise.all. And then we can go ahead and say that we want to await get followers with, and we might have to say this actually. So we might have to say const followers is equal to, and then get followers with the user, whoops, user dot username, and then const following is equal to get following with user dot username. Okay, and then we'll promise all followers and following. And what is your problem? Expected 1 arguing but got 2. Get followers, user.username. Okay, I don't know what the issue is here. It's declared but never read. Is assigned but never used. That's not an issue. It's an array or unknown. I don't know what this problem is. Following promise any. Expected 1 argument but got 2. Username. Is it promise.all? Promise.all might need to be this. Okay, followers and following. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we will say return object, return logged in is equal to user. We'll return followers is equal to following and followers. And we might just say 0. And then we'll say following is following and followers of 1. Now, we could have done this a different way. That's true. I just want to see if this works. So I'm going to log myself out. Let's also try catching this. So let's go ahead and try catch. I don't know what we're going to do if we catch. Maybe we should return an empty. Maybe we should return this. And do the same thing here. Try this. And then copy this. Paste that. And then if we catch an E, we'll just return an empty. So catch E. And here just return. I don't know why my sound is going crazy either. Okay, now what's the problem? Return that, return that. Yep, okay, that's fine. Token is mad. I don't know what the issue with token is. Logged in any following user does not exist on this type. So let's go ahead and scroll down to here. I'm assuming this part is mad for logged in. Action.payload. So instead of user, it's going to be probably logged in. So let's grab logged in for all of these. And honestly, I don't know why we did it this way. Ooh, we also need a token. Ooh. So is it logged in.token maybe? We might have to say logged in.token on this as well. Oh, this is just action.payload.token. Let me double check what this returns when we log in. So I scuffed something here. So let's go to auth controller. And login returns a login response, and our login response is apparently in our models. We didn't do a very good job with this. Has a user and a token. Okay. So it'd be logged in dot token, I guess. At least it should be logged in dot token. Action.payload dot logged in dot token. Although this is actually like logged in dot user ID, right? So like I need to do this like one layer deeper, I think, and this is probably super scuffed, so this is gonna be fun when it's broken. User, and then we also need to set the followers to action.payload.followers, and then the following is action.payload.following, and then that fixed that. Okay, now I don't have any clue this is gonna work, so what we're gonna need to do is come into here, and actually before we come in here, let's go into our it's not an app, it'd probably be in the layout page at this point. That's where we have our token. We have our state.user. And we're watching on token change. So I kind of want to console.log state.following and state.followers and state.user or state.logged in, just to make sure this is all there like it's supposed to be. Whenever we log in though, there's not going to be any, it should just be empty. I'm primarily looking to make sure there's no error, and then after we go ahead and follow, we can fix that up. So let's go ahead and log out. So right now the only way to log out is to go into our application and delete this token. So we delete the token, and if we refresh, I'm going to keep this, should kick us out to the home page. Cool. Go into our sign in, go ahead and sign in with unknown coder and password, try to log in. So we got a server error. What is this server error? Get followers and get following. Okay, so let's see what these server errors are. So let's scroll up. Maybe we didn't have, the user you're looking for does not exist. I wonder what the user information we got was. Because it would have been unknown coder. So that means, although we should have had, if we go back into the user slice, we waited for this to happen. Because this is an async method. We waited for the user. And then, so let's say console.log user.username. Maybe for some reason, oh, you know what? It's going to be user dot. So instead of, that's fine there. So it's going to be like user.user, right? Because our login returns a user. So that's kind of annoying. So it's going to be like user.user.username, I believe. Let's go ahead and change this to user.user.username, user.user.username. And then we can still pass in the whole logged in object. That's fine. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's go ahead and clear out the application again. So let's clear out a token, refresh. I should really go ahead and set up the logout so I can do stuff like this easier. I'm just too lazy. So let's go ahead and say password. Okay, and inside of here, so we still got a 500. So this one is get following. But we did have the correct username. So we still got unknown coder. So user/following/unknown coder did not like. But followers was fine, which is interesting. So let's scroll down to the bottom. It probably says it couldn't find me again for some reason. So let's see. It's a 500 error again. User does not exist exception. So for some reason, whenever we do the user service or retrieve followers list, but following worked, it looks like. So what's the difference between our following and follower? So we go into our user service. We have our get by username. We have register user, generate email. We have load by username. Follow user, retrieve following list, and retrieve followers list. So it was user does not exist exception for retrieve followers list. So retrieve followers list failed, but retrieve following list worked. Interesting. They both got past the same exact username, unless that has something to do with the user controller itself. So following username, path variable username, followers username, path variable username. Those are also the same. Get mapping, following. So it does not like our following. Why is that? Username, both of those seem fine. We got that, so that was the console.log user.username. That should be fine. Also, this should be like, I don't mind, return the data. Huh. Because it console.logged the username properly, so console.logged unknown coder in the user slice like it was supposed to. So I'm wondering why it got... Let's try to run this inside Postman to see what happens, I guess. Maybe there's something strange going on with Promise All. So let's open up Postman and try to run this, which I might already have it set up. Do I? Collections, user. So we have followers. Unknown coder. I think this is the one that was broken. So this one's 200. So we do following. User unknown coder. Okay, following is scuffed. Username for oh, you know what? This is really stupid. I just changed that TR to username. I bet it works now. That's a really stupid way to... Yeah. Okay, let's try this again. So let's go ahead and go into our application. And let's go ahead and log out. So go into application, delete our token. JDK 11, Spring Boot 3.2. I haven't used JDK 21, so I don't really know much about it. I use 17 at work. And realistically, like, I don't even really use 17 features. I primarily am using features from like Java 11 and Java 8. We just kind of upgrade to be able to be up to date with like the somewhat most recent version of Spring Boot 3.2. So I don't really keep up to date with all the changes and everything, unfortunately. I just kind of do my thing. I'm sure there's some good there, but yeah, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. If you like to use it, use it. If not, don't use it. It's kind of my philosophy. So let's go ahead and log back in as unknown coder and put in our password. And there we go. Okay. Yep. So I just scuffed that. And again, we don't have any following. So that's working just fine. So now we need to do the same exact thing in our other code. So if we come back in here, so whenever we actually get the user from whatever, so I'm going to literally copy and paste the same exact code. Again, probably not the best way to do this. We probably would want to, although this one's login instead of, so this one we might want to do slightly differently. We still want the followers and following and promise all. But here we do this. We have the data. So we'll say const users equal to rect.data. And this one, I think we literally do only have the user. So this one, I think we can go ahead and say copy all this. And we're going to scuff a bunch of things, but it's fine. So now we can go ahead and say user.username and user.username. Okay, and then it's going to break some other things. So let's go down to our get user by token. Yep, there it is. Get user by token. So logged in will be action.payload.user. or logged in. Username will be logged in dot username, and then we also want to set followers find action dot payload dot followers, and following will be action dot payload dot following. Okay, and let's go ahead and if we refresh our application, let's make sure that this works properly. So let's inspect and go to our console, and if we refresh, it should grab the token, do all that. So it didn't print anything, but we got this and this. I don't know what's undefined there, but the fact that it didn't break anything is probably fine. So now we did all of that, so we can go back into our user slice once again, and we can set up a follow. So the follow is pretty confusing, so hopefully I can get this right. So let's go ahead and say export const, and we'll go ahead and say follow user equal to create async thunk. All right, and this will be user slash follow, and what we can go ahead and do is async, and I don't know what this needs. I'm assuming it needs a token or the token, and this probably needs to be an object. So let me double check what this looks like here on the code. So whenever we follow someone, we want a token, we want a string hash map with a body. It's going to have the logged in user, which is, I guess, just a token, and the followed user is going to be a string. In the string, if we go into a user service, let's go into user service and follow. So string user, string followee, logged in user, it's going to find by username, and then it also finds that by username. Although in the user controller, we get in the username from token. Okay, so yeah, so we just want the username of the person we're following, and we need the token. So what we need inside of this code is, let's go ahead and make a interface. So we can go ahead and say interface follow user body, and this will take in a token string, and then whoops, don't do that, string, and then a followee, not a great name with string, but it is what it is. So we have the token from our account, and then who we're following. So now let's scroll down, went past it. So instead of token string, we're gonna have a body, which is a follow user body. We'll have our thunk API. Okay, and then this is just an arrow function. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this. So set up a try and a catch E, maybe. Oh my goodness. And this will return thunk API dot reject with value E. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and say const request is equal to, and this will be Axios dot, and this is a post request to http colon// localhost 8000 /user/follow. And honestly, this could have been a GET request or a put request, because if we look at the code, so they're just taking in one object in the body, but it is what it is. So go ahead and do that. So I guess we'll say data is so data will be, I forgot what we called this, like followee or something. So followed user. So then we have to do it like this. Followed user is going to be user, or actually it'd be body Please don't do that. Body.followee. And then we'll have headers. Or does this need to be, you know what? This might need to be outside this. So we might be able to just say data. Because I don't think I have a post request like this. So we might be able to get away with this. And then we have the object with config. Yeah, so then we have our headers, colon, and then we can go ahead. I'm just going to copy this authorization so I spell it properly, because you have to have, I think you have to be authorized for this. And this will be body.token. Okay, so we have a request, and then what we can do is return rec.data. I don't know what this returns. And let's go ahead and await this. Hopefully this returns the user that we just followed. Because otherwise, well, we might have access to the data, I guess, on the profile. But we want to, whoops, I'm sorry, we want to add that user to our list, like, immediately, basically. So see if this returns. Follow returns the set of application users. And if we go to user service, it returns the following list. Okay. So I guess we can go ahead and just rewrite the entire follow list, right? So that's easy enough. So that's good to go. Let's go ahead and come into here. And do I have all the fulfilled up top? No, I don't know what I did here. Maybe I just ignored some of them. So I guess we'll just do this. Builder.add case. And we'll go ahead and add the case for follow user. Yeah, and then this will be dot pending, I guess. Take in the state, the action, and then we'll say state is equal to dot state. And then error is false. And I don't know if I don't have loading, so I guess I won't set loading. And return the state. Okay. And then we'll have builder.add case to follow user, and then dot, and this will be fulfilled state action. Let's make sure we wrap those in parentheses. And that's not what I wanted. Thank you very much. Okay, so state will equal to dot state, and then our following list will be equal to the action.payload. We'll just go ahead and override our following list. We can return the state. Nope, state. I'll get it one of these days. And then finally, builder.add case, and this will be follow user dot rejected, and state action. And we'll go ahead and set the error to true, basically. State equal to dot state, and error is true. Okay, make sure we return this one as well. So basically what we want to go ahead and do is dispatch this. It'll go ahead and update the list of followers for the person that's logged in inside the user slice. And then we should be able to update the followed button, and it's probably going to say like following or something and be outlined and stuff like that. I haven't looked at it yet. I'll follow this person. I'm looking on Twitter. So now in the profile follow section, let's go ahead and bring in all the stuff we need. So we need to import our use dispatch. We need to also import our app dispatch. So import app dispatch. I don't know why it keeps, something's wrong with my prettier. I don't know what the deal is. And import follow user from our Redux slice. I'm so glad I'm almost done using VS Code. And then let's go ahead and bring in all of this. So in here, we'll say import, not import, oh my goodness, const dispatch is equal to use dispatch. Let's make sure we say it's an app dispatch equal to use dispatch. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and say const follow user, or handle follow user so it doesn't get confused is equal to an arrow function. In here, we'll go ahead and dispatch. And I guess we are going to need use selector. So use selector, and we're going to need root state. Root state. Now we can probably add some extra checks here to make sure that, you know, there is a user and all of that stuff. So we'll go ahead and say const token is equal to, and we'll say use selector, and then we'll have our state, root state, and then we'll return state.user.token. So we'll make sure that there's a token. So we want to make sure if token, then we'll dispatch, because we don't want to try to dispatch if we don't have a token. And we should have the username. So then we can go ahead and dispatch follow user, and this will take in the token. This needs to be an object actually. This will take in the token and the username. Username, although this will be follow e is username. Okay, and that should be fine, I believe. One last thing we might want is const following list is equal to use selector of state and root state, and then we'll go ahead and return state.user I don't know what the problem is, following. Let's see, state : root state. Oh, I spelled root state wrong. There we go. So we'll get the following list, and then this will update automatically. So maybe we go ahead and do this and this. So now we'll go ahead and say, like, this is gonna be interesting. So we want like following list dot contains, or it might be includes in JavaScript, includes. So if the following list includes, now this is the part, oh man, so we're gonna have to say following list dot, we're going to say like dot find, following list dot find, and we're gonna have to say, like, I forget to do this, but it's like find person, and then person dot username is equal to username question mark. So if that's the case, we want the button to not say this, we want a different button, and we probably actually want like a div, a fake button, and div, and then do this, and then this will probably say like following, and then this can have a class name equal to instead of follow section button, it'll be follow section following or something. So then if they're following already, it'll pop up as this instead of saying follow. So that's a lot of code that just changed, and I think we'll be lucky if it works first try. So if we go ahead and search for Rick, Rick Sanchez pops up. We're not following him, so it shows us as follow as an option. So if we click follow, absolutely nothing happens. So you know what, we never put an on click on the button, so that was like the most anticlimactic thing ever. So let's go ahead and add an on click, and let's also clean this up a little bit because this is really hard to read. So let's say this, so question mark, we'll say that they're already following. Otherwise, we'll do this. And then let's go ahead and add the on click. That way it's not as anticlimactic. Equal to, and this will be handle follow user. How's it going, Manish? All right, let's see how this explodes. So let's go into our console. Probably not going to see anything. Best case scenario, this switches. Okay, so 405, method not allowed. Apparently it's not a post. Axios error, fail 405, bad request. Okay, follow rejected. So for some reason, it rejected our user. So, oh, it's a put mapping. Interesting, I thought it was a post. Okay, so that makes sense why it failed. So let's go ahead and update our slice to make this a put request. Follow user, so this is a put. Fair enough, save that. Let's come back in here. Let's give it a refresh, sure. We go ahead and follow now, let's see what happens. Okay, so it says following. If we go back to the home page, and if we refresh for the first time, so it's saying undefined and empty. So it might be also because, let's see here. So the user doesn't exist yet in the layout page. So that might make sense. So although the token changes, right? So I don't know why it doesn't, although it might not have the user yet, because it dispatches it after. Okay, so let's say when the state dot logged in changes from undefined to this, and we got an infinite loop, but there is a person in there, so let's get rid of this before I crash and melt down my computer. So it's there, it's working the way that we want. If we go into here, there's one person, Rick, and we're following Rick. And I don't know how we remove that other than, I guess if we restart the database there, it gets removed, but okay, so let's also just double check. Yeah, so it does say following, so I guess there is an unfollow. And then there's a notify. So it does change up the profile a little bit. So let's go back into our follow section. So it actually does create a new button. So instead of it being a div, it is a button. And so let's fix this. So now this will be a button. And then let's say this is follow button. Follow button. And then the top one will be unfollow button. This will be section unfollow button. And this one like has a hover effect, which is going to be, I have no idea how we're going to do that. We might be able to get a ref. We're going to do some voodoo magic, I guess. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So how do we figure out if we're hovering over something? JS detect hover over button, maybe. We might be able to put a on mouse over on the button, and then so we might be able to do on mouse over. So let's say on mouse over, and then maybe we go ahead and say const hovering on, this is going to get messy, but hovering over unfollow, set hovering over unfollow, and so I guess it won't be that hard. Go ahead and bring in use states. This will be a boolean, and this will be start out to be false, obviously. So on mouse over, we'll basically go ahead and just set the hover. Although we're gonna need an on mouse exit, right? On mouse. So there's on mouse enter, I think, and on mouse leave. What if we say on mouse enter is equal to this? This is gonna be really ugly. But we can go ahead and say set hovering over unfollow true. And on mouse leave. We can go ahead and set hovering over unfollow to false. And then what we can go ahead and do is we can do a little bit of stuff in here. So we'll basically say like hovering over unfollow question mark. If that's the case, we'll go ahead and say unfollow. Otherwise, whoops, let's go back. Oh my goodness. Otherwise, we'll say following. So fix that. So for hovering over the button, we'll say unfollow. Otherwise, we'll say follow. So if we go back to Rick and go into Rick, so it says following, we hover over, it says unfollow. Okay, so that's what we need. And then now for the now I gotta think about what I want to do for. Yeah, so then we're gonna need two different classes. So this is gonna be really messy. So we are gonna go ahead and do something like this just to clean this up a little bit. So class name is gonna be a little bit gross, and on mouse enter, on mouse leave, and all that stuff is gross. So let's go ahead and just fix this up a little bit. Do this and bring this over. So now basically inside of our class, we're also going to have this. And so I guess what we could have done, yeah, we don't need to do this. We can just do an hover effect. It's the same color and everything. It should be fine. So it's just the color changes and a couple other things. So yeah, this will be fine. We'll just do a hover effect. So let's go ahead and copy this to make sure this button is now working again. So now instead of here, section button, it'll be follow button. Okay. And I think it's technically bigger. So if we unfollow, yeah, it is bigger. So we need to make it a little bit bigger so we can go and see how big it is and some other stuff. But the font size is the same, all of that stuff. So let's grab this one, profile section unfollow button. Copy this, paste this. So width instead of 80 will be 104 px. Height will be the same. Height will be 36 px. Whoops, 36 px. And then border, we'll have a border. So border will be 1px solid. And this is going to be the light gray. So I'm going to grab the light gray color. And then what else do we want? So it doesn't have a background color. Font size, once again, will be 15px. And then font weight will be 600. If we want to, we could also have a cursor pointer. Doesn't matter. And then next we'll say dot profile follow section unfollow button hover. So basically the height and width is the same, except now border will be 1px solid. I'm pretty sure there's like an error color that we have. Okay, it's just red, so that's kind of silly. So we'll go ahead and say that's red. Okay, and when we hover over, it has kind of like a red tinge to it. And we also set the color to red, so color will be red. And then background color will be RGBA. So it'd be red 255 0 0 and then like 0.3. So let's just see how that looks. So now we're following. Now it says unfollow. Cool. The only other thing I can think of is one, unfollow is not spelled properly. So I guess it's spelled properly, but should say unfollow like that. Okay. We might want a justify content center because I think it's moving around a little bit. So we might want to throw a display flex in here, justify content in the center, align items in the center, that way it stays in the center. And we might want to make this like 0.2. Trying to think of what else we might want on this. I'm not sure. I think that might be everything we really need. The hover factor just says unfollowing, and then yeah, makes a red thing. Oh, we need a border radius on it. That's what I'm missing. Border radius, and then this will be half of this, so 18px. Something else I noticed, it looks like the background color might be, yeah, there's like a background color on this, so let's go ahead and make background color just white, and that should match the background. Yeah, I think that's what we want. Cool. So now whenever you click on this, it does do some logic, but I'm gonna ignore that logic for now because all I wanted to do was make it so we were following them. And then also it pops up like a little notification bell that turns on or off notifications. So let's go on material and see if we can find that notification bell. This one they might not have. This one might need a viewing from Twitter. I'm not sure. So let me go ahead and just search for like notification and see what pops up. So yeah, there is an add notification. It's probably not the exact same, but it is what it is. And Twitter's is an outline actually. So let me grab the outlined version of notification. Okay, let's go ahead and bring it in to our application. So let's go into a follow section. So it's going to be basically the same thing we have here. And it's basically the same exact thing. So I might just copy that more. It's not great because I just don't want to basically use the same exact CSS again. So now instead of more horizon, it's going to be notification icon 2020, except this one we need to wrap. So this is only going to be if we're following. So we're going to have to do the same exact thing. So maybe what we do, although the issue would be we'd have to watch the following list. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and say following list.find this, and we're going to paste it in here. We could have done some trick to with like use state and stuff, but then we still have to watch for it to change. I'd rather just do it this way. It does it automatically. So you can see we have these two. We weren't following them. It would undo that. So that's something I need to add to the list, is being able to unfollow people. But I don't really want to go on a tangent. If you click on this and turn on notifications, we'll also need to do some stuff. But again, my primary goal was to just get it so we could follow people. And then whenever we go to home, it starts showing the feed, right? So that's what I want to work on now, is getting some posts pulled up and all that stuff. Now, I think what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show you guys a website called Mockaroo. And we're going to mock a bunch of posts and stuff, just because to make my life a little bit easier. So we're going to keep like Rick and Morty and all those guys. However, we might go ahead and make some random posts for them, just some like lorem ipsum or something. So let's go ahead and go over to Mockaroo. I'll go ahead and open up a new tab. So Mockaroo, I think it's like this, Mockaroo. And what we can basically do is we can tell it exactly what like our database looks like, and we go ahead and put in all the data. So let's go ahead and just close out of this. So we can, like, for example, make 1,000 words are hard users, or however many users, make it SQL, and we can give it the create table name, and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and pull up dbeaver. And if we go into FwitterDB, I need to go ahead and still look into how to make this persist properly. Public tables. So the first thing that we're worried about is going to go ahead and do this users. And if we go into data, we can go ahead and see that it has user ID. We can ignore bio if we want to. We could do date of birth. We can add enabled has to be true. First name, last name, nickname. Password has to be specific, so we'll copy that password in. I mean, realistically, we could ignore the password if we wanted to and just never sign into some of these people, which is perfectly valid. Username needs to be done, verification, yada yada yada. Verification, I don't think we need. Phone number, we don't need for this. Banner picture, this can just be null. So what we can go ahead and do is we can pop open Mockaroo. Now I'm going to pull dbeaver to the side, and let's go ahead and start generating some data. So maybe we do 1,000, I don't know. So first field that we need is going to be bio. So bio, and we can just choose a random thing. So there's like phrases and stuff, I think. Personal avatar, buzzword, catchphrase. We can do catchphrase. Sure, we can just do catchphrase. So that can be like the bio. Next, we could do a date of birth. That's fine. So this can be DOB. And then here, instead of catchphrase, we can do, should be like a date of birth, I think. Let's see here. Social security, title, shirt size, last name, job title, gender. Let's scroll through here. I know there's probably a date of birth, date, time, domain name, drug name. Maybe there's not a birth date. I figured there would be. I might just be missing it. Blank, base URL, image. Let's try birthday. So it might be, we might just skip DOB. We can do email. So there's definitely an email address. So let's grab email. Okay. So enabled has to be true. So enabled, and then you could do like Boolean, and you can go ahead and say like, I don't remember how to do this, but there's a way to say do 100%. Let's see, concat code day digest epoch now. I don't remember how to set all of them to null, all of them to true. You might also be able to, I think there's a way to do values. It's not blank. Let me look through this. There's a way to set it to something specific that you want. Like there's like an options. I don't remember what it is. And I could have done date time for the other thing, but it's not a date time, I don't think. It's just a date in our database, and that would break things, so I don't want to break that. GUID, hex color, a bunch of code stuff. So maybe there isn't what I was looking for, but I'm just gonna look through here really quick. I thought there was a way to do this. I guess there is a password. Row numbers, regular expression, scenario, sentences, sequence, slogan, state. So maybe there's not a way to do it. I was thinking there is a way to do. I know for a fact I just don't remember how to do. We could say like if false, true. Like we could do like if false, then true. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. But we basically just want it to be true every single time. We'll see how scuffed it looks. So we did email, we need enabled, so we'll do first name and last name. So go ahead and grab a first name first, and then we can go ahead and search for first name. So first name, general, add another one, last. So this will be last name. So go ahead and look for a last name. Okay, we don't want any of these to be blank, so we'll put 0%. Okay, let me scroll to the right. So now we want a nickname. So we'll just add another nickname. Whoops. Nick. Name. I don't know. I don't think there's a nickname. No nickname. So for this, let's see what other names they have. So domain name, drug name, app name, pay company name. There's first names. We could just do full names, because I don't want it to be username. Although I think by default we just set it to username. So maybe we'll do that and just set it to username. And then we need a password. So let's go ahead and grab password. And we'll just do password. So, and we can do a password hash, I guess. Yeah, we'll do a password hash. I don't know what the password would be. I'm not that worried about logging in. We can add phone. So phone, and there should be a phone number one. Yep, phone. And then we can add our username, and that's like the last one we really need to worry about. Username, and this will be username. Right, so now we can go ahead and generate 1,000 of these, and this table is going to be called users. And I don't remember how to actually, okay, it's generate data. I always forget where to actually find it at. And it's actually, I just want to preview it to make sure it looks okay. So you can see we have the bio, which is a bunch of random things. Syntax error, cool, so that didn't work. And there's also, it looks like it added a create table. We don't need that. Okay, so we need to look at the Boolean thing. Format, that's fine. Password hash, so it does not like our Boolean. That's why we check. If false, then true. Maybe it's if this is equal to false, then true. And let's see what this does. This might not work either. And we might say else true. And this is all red, so I don't know that it's gonna work. It doesn't like the double equals. So we'll see what happens if we preview this data. Oh, that actually did work. So now they're all true. Perfect. So now we have 1,000 users that we can go ahead and basically just copy all of these. And this is pretty ugly, but it is what it is. We can copy these users, and now we can go into our data. And if we go into data.sql, fingers crossed. So basically this is the same information, more or less, email enabled, first name, last name, nickname, password, username, bio, that I was setting, except it's just in a little bit of a different order. So if we go ahead and paste this, it's going to be really messy, but let's go ahead and just see and make sure that this actually inserts. We didn't insert any data or any ID because it's going to be all randomized. So if we go ahead and refresh, and fingers crossed we don't break anything. This isn't super exciting stuff, but I want to at least get some more information and data in here. Okay, so it did fail. Let's see. Column first, relation of users. Oh, this should be first. Okay, this should be first name, not first. So I screwed the pooch on this one. So let's go ahead and delete all these. Okay, I messed up. Let's go ahead and go back to Makaru. So this should be first underscore name. That should be last underscore name. So I messed up there. Let's go ahead and preview. Looks good. And a lot of the catchphrases and stuff are just random. It's fine. It's just supposed to be something in the bio. It's not going to help us really search for anything, but whatever. So there's that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and save again, and let's make sure that it'll run. And the whole reason I'm doing this is that I can start showing basically posts. Okay, that looks good. And now if we actually refresh our database, so if I refresh our tables, you're going to see, and actually let me go ahead and refresh users specifically, or I can open users back up. Although you guys don't see anything because I don't have it. So if I open up users, now we'll see, it does have some of the Pickle Rick ones. Or I guess it has Rick and Morty and all those. Now you can scroll down. I don't know why this one's null. I guess it doesn't really matter. Nickname probably, oh wait, that's mine. That's why it's null. Okay. But yeah, so this is like random hashes. But yeah, so random usernames, random passwords. So now what we can do is, so we can just make some normal old posts. It just has, I don't know what audience is. We can just have like a, oh, that's like everyone, I guess. We'll just set that to everyone. Content, the data is posted, a reply restriction. When it was scheduled, if it's scheduled or not, it'll just be false. Scheduled date, and that'll also be just null. The author ID and the poll ID, and we can give it some date ranges. Or not date ranges, some ranges for people. So let's go ahead and set up some random followers. So we should have, if we come into our database and go into users, so we should have user ID like, this only did 100. Okay, that honestly, that's probably fine. So we have 105 through 1. So basically what we can go ahead and do is we can take a look at our followers table, and we just need user ID and follower ID. So if we go back into Makaru, so it only gave us 100 because it's the first number of rows. That's fine. I'm not that concerned about it. So now let's go and close out this stuff. So now we can go ahead and say like user underscore ID. And now this is a range. I think we should be able to say range. I guess not. It's a number. I don't know if it's row number. It's not row number. I know there's a range of numbers. 10-digit number, Dunn's number, street number. Doesn't say range. Let's scroll through these again. I don't remember. I know there's a way to do a range between like 1 and whatever. It might be sequence. Character sequence, digit sequence, create a simple sequence. Generate a sequence of numbers with adjustable step. Although that's not really what I want either. We can try using AI, I guess. Generate field using AI. So we want 100 fields. Although this doesn't help either. So user underscore ID and maybe ID. Doesn't help us either. I know there's a way to do a random number. What is it though? It's not blank. It's not character sequence. It has something to do with numbers, but I don't remember what it is. Here, custom list. So, random, weighted, dynamic. Now the only issue is that, although I wonder if I can just do a random number between 1 and, you can. Random min max generates a random number between min and max. So what we can actually do is change this to number again. So number, and then min 100, max 105, 0 decimals. And we can do the same thing for follower underscore ID. I think that's what we want. Let's double check. Yeah, follow under ID, same thing. We can go ahead and preview this data. Now, a whole bunch of random people are following each other. Now, probably better to, I guess, make sure that this is working properly, and like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just gonna do this. This is fine. Okay, do that, and then we're gonna do the opposite, although I forgot to change the name from users to followers. So come back into Mockaroo, and instead of users, now this is going to be called followers, I believe. Yeah, so followers. And now we can go and preview data. If we wanted all 1000, I could generate it and paste it in. I'm not that concerned about it being 1000 because look how much we have already. And now we want following, I believe. So if we go in here, so we did followers. Let's do following now. Except following is literally the same thing. So come back into Mockaroo and close out this. Although this might be different. So this will be following. And let's see. So dbeaver. So following table is user ID and then the following underscore ID. So instead of follower, it'll be following. All right. And then hopefully this works out, because it might need to be completely opposite, but we'll see how scuffed it gets. Let's copy this. Whoops. Didn't want that part. Let's see if it lets us do this. It might. So save that and let's go ahead and rerun. Let's see if we get all of these random followers and followings. Hopefully it works. Nope, and I think it's because, let's see, duplicate keys for followers, P key, 76 and 44 already exists. So apparently, it wasn't unique for some reason. User ID, follower ID. Okay, so I wonder if there's a way, let's see here. There should be a unique way to do this. I didn't think we'd run into that issue. Trying to think, how could we deal with this? I mean, the easiest way to do it would be just go ahead and generate it again and see if we can get it to not I'm trying to think how we can prevent it from doing that. I mean, there might be a way to do it this way, but the easiest way to do it might be to just continue previewing these until there's not any duplicates. Or we could tell it somehow that we might be able to tell it somehow that these are a key. I'm not sure. I don't know that it's smart enough to realize, because if we preview, it just says these two, right? doesn't actually know that this is a key. I mean, we can try to preview again and see if we can get it to work. We could also go through and just delete the duplicates. That might be the best way to do this, honestly. Instead of trying to get it to quote-unquote work perfectly. So let's go ahead and, I guess, get rid of these if my mouse wants to work. And we can just control find where it's broken. Because odds are it'll probably try to insert them again, like a duplicate again. So just go through and find duplicates. Okay, so this time following ID. Okay, so that's good. Relation, oh shoot. Okay, I messed up, so let's fix this. So we need to come back in here. So it should be follower ID. Wasn't careful. Review the data. Let's grab this. So we gotta fix this again. So it doesn't look like we can get too much done tonight, unfortunately. But if we can get a bunch of data in there, then we can at least play with it whenever we're creating our posts and stuff like that. We can go ahead and follow a couple people and do that, because that's really what I need, is just have like a baseline to actually follow people and view their posts and stuff like that. Okay, so insert update violates foreign key constraint. User ID 105 is not present in table users. Excuse you. Users 105 right here. Let's refresh, I guess, the user table. Let's see, users, refresh. It's literally just looking at 105. Oh, it didn't make me this time. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. So let's go ahead and just get rid of any of them that are 105. So control F, except I want to control F up here. 105. So there's one here. It's got to be another one somewhere. 105. So it's not going to be a ton of data, but it is what it is. Like 100 lines is still a bit of data, and it's enough for us to play around with, especially if we get like 100 posts going here. Okay, now followers, and then 4588. So let's go ahead and find that. 45. So it's not that one. Let's go up to the top. Okay, that's fine. We can ignore those. So it's 4588 in followers. So we can skip down here. Okay, so there's that one, 4588. And let's make sure there's not a 4588. Okay, so there's no more 4588. I know this is riveting content. The post shouldn't be such an issue. So now we have 12104 already exists. So let's try to find 12. Let's see here. Yes, a lot of 12s. Thank you. 1255. 12104. 12104. Okay. I'm sure there's other issues as well. So let's just keep going until we get rid of all these duplicates. And then, like I said, post shouldn't be an issue because we'll just make sure, okay, that's good. So now whenever we make a post, we shouldn't have an issue. So let's go ahead and go back to Mockaroo, do the last thing. So Mockaroo, close out of this. So finally for our post, let's take a look at what post has. So post has post ID, audience, content, posted date. So I don't know what audience options are. So let's take a look at what audience. So we go into post controller, or just post in general. Audience is, where is audience? Bookmarks, views, audience is an enum type. Audience, let's see, audience of models, so everyone or circle. This will just be everyone. Okay, so if we go into Mockaroo and we move this over. So we'll skip once again. We'll add a field. So first field will be audience. And we should have like a character sequence. Actually, you might want to grab from a list. And the list will just say everyone. And that's just going to be it. Hopefully it doesn't need to be a string. Next will be content. And this will be paragraph, I guess. Now we gotta make sure it's not too many. That's probably fine, at least one, but not more than 3. And then we want a posted date. So posted underscore date. And this one is a date time, I believe. So date time. And it doesn't really matter. I think it's under month, day, year. So do month, day, year. This I don't think matters. And sure, we can go. Let's make sure it's in the past. So yeah, we can go a year. That's probably fine. Reply restriction. So let's go ahead and see what reply restriction looks like. So if we close out of this and go back into post, so reply restriction. Oh, that should be. I messed up. That should be like 0, 1. So these should both be 0. So this should be 0, and then we should have reply underscore restriction, which is also going to be a custom list of 0. So they'll just grab 0 every time. We could have done a custom list for that true or false one, I guess. Scheduled will just be false every time. Scheduled date, we can, I think, skip author ID. Author ID will be A, so this one we need a number. And the number will be between 1 and 104, 0 decibels. And then poll ID will skip, it'll be false. Let's go ahead and just preview this. This will give us 100 posts. Hopefully these aren't too big. So we'll see how this works. Make sure it looks good. It's kind of a mess, but they do have random dates and stuff, so that should be fine. Although I think it's date and time. I think this is a date and time. It's a timestamp, yeah. So let's go back into date time, and let's go make sure that we have. I want time as well. It might be SQL date time. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like instead. So I want to make sure that we have, yeah. Now hopefully that reads it fine on the Java end, but we'll find out in a little bit. So now back into here in our data SQL, we'll go ahead and create some post. Now this one should be fine because we're only referencing the people we already created and nothing else really. The only thing is I could have maybe messed up something, although, ooh, that says false instead of false. So I made it a string instead of actually Boolean. So we're going to do the Boolean thing here. So here, instead of false, we'll do a Boolean, and the Boolean will do the same thing we did here. If this is equal to false, then true, else true, and apply. And then let's make sure whenever we preview this, it says false on all these. Although we want opposite, right? So we want to do, instead of it being true every time, we actually want to say if this is equal to true, then false, else false. We want it to be false every single time because it's not scheduled. All right, let's preview again. False. Yeah, okay, I think we're good now. So I'll make sure it's not scheduled. Copy this. and paste it in. And now if we come into here, oops, it didn't open. Come to here. Hello, are you gonna open IntelliJ or? There we go. Scroll to the top where we started, inserting the post, and hopefully these aren't too long. I only did 1 to 3 paragraphs, I think. I'd imagine it could probably fit in the database, but we'll see, I guess. Audience 0 should be fine. At least I hope it is. Let's see. Audience on followers does not exist. Facepalm, I forgot to make this called posts. I'm horrible at this YouTube thing. Post and preview. Control all. Except it can't control all. Okay, let's try this again. Copy this. Make sure it's actually in the right table. And we'll clear this out again. I don't know if the clock... So the thing that worries me a little bit is the timestamp. But hopefully it'll work out okay. So insert into posts. This is kind of a mess, but this will at least allow us to have some data to play around with. Let's see. Fingers crossed. What's broken now? Null value in post ID violates not null. Oh, you know what? We need to update the post. So this needs to be, instead of auto, this needs to be identity. If we save and run, then it'll automatically create those. So let's try that. Slowly working through the bugs and stuff. Oh, another issue. Let's see what the problem is now. Error. Okay. So maybe we say instead of 1 to 2, maybe we say, or 1 to 3, maybe we just say 1, but no more than 1. Preview. Hopefully that's not too long. The lorem ipsum was a little bit too long there. So we'll do that. Hopefully this is less than 256. We could probably figure out a way to cut off. I don't know Ruby says that's what this is, but try again. We'll get it one of these days. Come on. Alright, come on. Gary needs a new pair of shoes. Give it to me here. Don't show me any errors. I want to go ahead and start loading after we follow people, and of course we get eels again. Why did it switch back to followers? I put this on posts. I swear I put this on posts. Try again. I guess I didn't put it on posts. I'm so confused. I swore I put that on posts, but I guess not. Alright, let's try again, I guess. Hopefully I didn't scuff the following. Followers? No, I didn't. Okay, cool. Alright, come on. Gary needs a new pair of shoes. There we go. Okay, if we come back into dbeaver and we take a look, so if we give this a refresh and then close out of posts and then open up posts, maybe we can see we have all these different posts that are not scheduled. They have random authors. I don't know if we got any with like Rick or Morty. So there's a 4 there. There's a 2 there. There's another 4. There's a 1 there. So yeah, there's a couple of posts there. There's a 2 there. So depending on who we follow, we can follow 2. 2 has a couple of posts. And we can also make a couple other posts, but 2 has 2 posts and some other stuff. So cool. So now we got a whole bunch of users. Now the next thing we need to look into is in our user service, do we have a feed? And do we want to just make a feed? So we might want to just make like a feed, I guess, because the feed is going to be basically a pagination of maybe like 50 posts or something. And when we get to the bottom of the page, it does some stuff. So yeah, maybe we go ahead and make a feed service and then kind of go from there. And let's go ahead and close out this, close out this, close out that. If we wanted to, we could make a DTO, which is basically just the feed DTO is just going to be a list of posts based off of whatever. So, I mean, realistically, I guess we don't really need it. We'll go ahead and make a new service, Java class, call this feed service. Okay. And we'll throw @service on top of this. And we might literally just use like the user service at user, or not at user service, so private final user service. I don't know what else we would need. Maybe posts, but the user has access to their post. So at autowired public feed service, pass in the user service, maybe I'm getting tired. This dot user service is equal to user service. All right, so basically we're gonna want a get, so public, this will be a list of post, and this will be get feed maybe for user. Okay, and then we'll pass in, do we want to pass in the user? I guess we technically have the user object. Or we want to just pass in the user ID. What does our user service have on it? I'm assuming user service probably has a way to get the user by ID. So yeah, we get user by ID, finds it. So yeah, so we'll pass in the user ID, integer ID. Okay, and then we'll do this, and we'll go ahead and import a list. And basically we'll go ahead and just return a new array list to keep it off our back for a second. Go and import this, and what we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll say application user and current user equal to user service dot get user by ID. Pass in that ID. So as long as we have that ID, what we're gonna go ahead and do, this is gonna get really messy. We can go ahead and return, and we might do like, this might be where we flat map. I'm not sure. Java flat map, either that, we're gonna concatenate a whole bunch of streams. But I think, let's see. So let's just try to do what I'm trying to do, and then we'll kind of go. So we're gonna say current user dot get following. So we're gonna get the following dot, and then we're gonna go ahead and stream. And we're going to, so basically we want to go through, we actually might need to, let's see, I'm trying to think about what we want to do. So we want to get each user, so we might want to go and stream, and then dot, so I don't know if we want to map here. So this gets each user. And let me think here. So I think we do want flat map. Now the only issue, so we might not want to do it this way because we want to order it by the date, right? And we need a way to basically order it in that way. Also, this needs to be a pagination, right? So we need to. I need to figure out how to make a page, right? A pagination object. But we probably need a whole list for that anyway. So I'm trying to think here. So maybe it won't matter right now. Maybe let's just make a whole list, I guess. So we want to map. And let's say, so this is currently an application user. So we can say user : I don't know why it's saying user service, because we already have the current user .get following. So let's try this. So we'll say user. We should have been able to do what I wanted. I don't think it matters. User .get, and then here we should get post. There should be a get post. Huh, there's no get post. Interesting. Let me look at the application user again. I swore we had a get post. Or do we not store the post on the user? Oh yeah, we went over this, didn't we? Shoot. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna need to create a new. So we're gonna also need to make a new repository method. So let me Spring JPA query in. So there's got to be a way to use in. So let's see here. And we can also get the pagination working that way a lot easier. I just gotta look at how to do the in query because I don't know how to do in. So basically we're gonna have a list of IDs. So I think that's all that our post actually has. I don't want like, I want in. I don't care about between. I don't care about that. We can also sort it, I guess, while we do that as well. Let's see. Spring data JPA in query. Query within. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this. What if I add clause to it? In clause example, here we go. Maybe this will actually be helpful. Okay, I don't care about configuring the database. I just want to see. So this is using @query. And then it takes in a list of IDs. So I guess we could try that. Except I want to be able to paginate it. But it looks like this might be the best option. So we can get it to do this and then we'll paginate it first. Or paginate it after we get this part to work. We're going to have to follow some people and do other things. So basically what we're going to go ahead and do is we will map the user and then user.getID. And then we'll .collect collectors.toList. Well, we might be able to say set. So we don't want multiple. So we'll say set integer following IDs equal to this. We'll fix whatever needs to be fixed. And this is because it's saying, hey, you could just use user : which is what I literally tried to do. And it got mad at me. So yeah, it does not like it. Yeah, it does not like me trying to do this, even though it says. I don't think we can say application user. Yeah, so I don't know why it wants me to use. It's saying lambda can be replaced with method. This. Oh, okay. I'm just stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. So now we have a set of integers. And what we can go ahead and do from here, we're not going to get too much more done. But we can go ahead and try to do the query, I guess. I don't know what the difference between. Well, let's delete, I guess. Okay. So let's go back into our post repository. And we have find by author. And that passes an entire author. Although I don't really want to be able to do it. Well, I think it'll be fine if we do it like this. So we're going to say @query. And this is going to be select P from. Now the only issue is that I think our post, if we actually look at our post, I think this is the actual author. So we might just say like author.id or author. Well, it has an author underscore ID. So the issue is that it's going to be querying from the actual application, not from the table. So I don't think this is going to work. So I don't think we can say from, because we're going to have to say from post P, where P dot author and then we can say IDs. So this isn't going to work because this is going to query based off the object, not off the table. So I might do a little bit more research on this. Public, this can be a list for now. Public list of post, and we'll say find post by author IDs. I mean, I guess what we could do is we could go ahead and say authors, right? We could do that. Find post by authors with an S, and then this will take in a list @param, and this will be authors, and then this will be a set of author, actually be application user and authors. And we can go ahead and do this. It's going to be annoying. Let's go and import java util.list, import java.util.list. I think that will technically work because there is a p.author select p from post p where p.author is in authors, and we called it author, so that should be fine. And here, instead of collect here, we don't need to stream anymore because we already have the, we can just go ahead and say set of application user of following, and we can just go say get following, right? And then we could go ahead and, I don't really want to go ahead and return a new array list. I don't really want to call the post repository directly in here. So maybe we go ahead and go into a post service. Post service, maybe. Where's our services? I'll go ahead and make a new thing. So that's for a specific author. Public list. I think we returned a list here. Yeah, public list post get all posts by authors. This will take in a list of authors of application users authors, and this will return post repo dot find post by authors, pass in the authors. Although this should be a set of authors, not a list of authors, so let's change that. Okay, and we can go ahead and say private final, and we'll say post service, and then this dot post service is equal to post service, and let's pass in post service here, post service. Okay, there we go. And then now we can go ahead and say return. We can return post service dot get all posts by authors, then pass in following. That should get the following posts, hopefully. And then let's go ahead and quickly create a feed. We can, although, should this be in here or should this be in the post service? Well, yeah, I'll put it in here just in case like we have anything else for feed, I guess. So we'll make a new feed controller, new file class, and we'll call this feed controller. And this will have @rest controller. And then this will have @request mapping. And this will go to /feed. Okay. And then this will take in a, so I'm gonna do kind of like what we do in our other one. So I think user service has the get user by token. If I scroll, register user, generate, set password, generate, load user by username, follow user, retrieve, or I thought it was, but maybe, or is it this? No, let's load by username. You know, I thought there was a get user by token. Maybe it's inside of the auth service or something. Let's look at the services really quick. Or maybe it's inside token service, generate token, get username from token. Okay, we'll do that. Although we have the ID. We might make a quick change, although it's already 11. Let's... Yeah, because I need the header and everything. I'll need like the user service and a couple other things. I'm gonna go ahead and call it, unfortunately. I know it's a little bit of a cutoff here, but we kind of just ran out of time for the night. So either way, I appreciate you guys as always for stopping by the stream. You know, 8 likes is pretty crazy. We got up to 4 viewers, which is pretty good. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm live about 2 times a week, and I'm actually scheduling them. If you want to come back and watch us later on, I appreciate it. But yeah, have a great night, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace out. Have a good one.